Alrighty, folks, it is October. It is Halloween season. So we are going to jump into the theme of scary facts, scary truths. And our first topic of the day with the three amigos is going to be the scary facts of growing a real estate portfolio. There are a lot of them out there. Let's welcome the guys to the show. Dion, how you doing?
Howdy, I'm doing great. There are a lot of things about real estate and investing that are very scary, and a lot of them stop people in their tracks.
Yes, exactly. Again, these are true facts, but are they really meant to really should you really let them stop you in your tracks? Matt, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing great, and no, they should not. That's why Dion cost me 150 grand. I had to show that burrs and construction loans and rehabs, they're not that scary, and it's just a process. And if you can debunk all the myths and mystery, then there's not really that much to be afraid of. You have to be, cautious and attentive, but outside of that, that's basically it.
Yeah, I think in fairness to that video we put out last week, I would say 80% of the respondents are Team Dion. Once again, Team Dion, the lazy landlord, turning down $3,750 an hour.
Yep.
Yes, an hour got the highest rating because they're like, hey, as Dion has said, you won the game, stop playing. So once again, Dion wins as usual.
We'll see where they are in 5 years.
I bet on
When they realize that they've got two kids going to college that they have to pay for. We'll see where they are there.
There you go. There you go. Well, Dion, let's talk about some scary truths. We'll play the game of ping pong. We'll just go around the circle 2 or 3 times, say something that is scary and true, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. Dion, what's your first scary fact about growing a real estate portfolio?
Einstein is quoted for saying there's only two things that are infinite:
Mhm.
the universe
Okay.
and people's stupidity.
I did not hear that before. That's a good one. I've not heard
So,
that.
okay, and so the thing that uh, terrifies me about real estate is people vote stupid.
Mm.
Like, how many times have you heard these laws have the intent of helping tenants? What's the actual outcome? It limits building, it causes rent appreciation, it causes limited supply, it does all of these things that do the opposite. But people don't read into it. They only see the headline and they go, "Oh, that looks like it benefits me." Right? We're gonna limit rent. We're going to make evictions take longer. We're going to put all this risk on the landlord, or we're going to try to take things away from landlords. Whatever it is, I think the majority of people vote stupid, and
Yeah.
and it doesn't mean I like left or right. I just
No,
the laws that
collectively.
they come up with. Don't politically, people vote stupid. Yeah, that's
Oh,
terrible.
yeah. Yeah, I like that. All right, Matt, what do you got for your first one?
So people vote stupid because they're completely uninformed and they're still allowed to vote,
Well,
which
they
is
they vote on they vote on headlines. They don't
they
vote on the article,
don't know
right?
what
It's
they're yeah, they
headline
don't know
read.
what they're doing. Like
Yeah.
that's the problem. They're not educated in the matter in which they're voting on. But my biggest one is it's very often the biggest thing that you hear about newer landlords is when there's a project that needs to be done and they can't find the contractor. So the scariest thing in getting into this is finding the right handyman, the right contractor, the one that you can properly manage, properly understands costs, that you're not getting somebody that every single time they show up thinks it's to be the Sistine Chapel.
Mhm.
But also not the other side of that coin, which is every single time they show up, they've got three tools in their box and one of them's glue and the other one's duct tape and the other
Yeah.
one's a hammer,
Right.
and so it's really finding that happy medium. But I think that obviously it's very doable. Every area has a great contractors that you can tap into and handymen that you can tap into, but it is very scary. That's a very daunting task when you're getting into your first one or your first couple and you start having things that come up that maybe you're remote or maybe you just don't want to do the work. Maybe you're mid nap like Dion, and then you have to find a way to get that project or task done.
Yeah. I think my first one is just an acknowledgement that tenants, termites, toilets, it's all real. It's all out there. I would argue that it happens a lot less frequently than you say. You will have evictions, you will have lawsuits, you will have insurance claims. The longer you do this and the more units you have, all of those things happen. But they're just a course of doing business. They shouldn't petrify you. You have insurance, you have umbrellas, you have lawyers, you have attorneys, you have trust, you have these other things. Um, You shouldn't let, being stuck at zero and thinking about what might happen when you have a large portfolio and not getting started it's mind blowing to me. So yeah, these things happen, but it's the cost of doing business, and it shouldn't stop you. So I just acknowledge that those things can happen. Dion?
Agree.
So this one really gets me because I think it had the biggest impact on me, and I didn't realize it until after it happened. And that's the investors out there that aren't in a community like one rental at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I I had never met someone like Frank or Dividend Dave or Josh and Mary or Michelle or anybody that was trying to invest in real estate. So when we talk in this community about an offer we made, about a job we're having done or something we finished, look at the congratulations, look at the support, right?
Yeah.
Now, people's friends and family is who they have and coworkers before they get into a community like this. Your biggest detractors, and I won't attack marriage here. If you have your spouse on board, you're 10 times more likely to succeed than I will, right? If your spouse is not on board, maybe not so much.
Maybe
But
not so
my
much.
brother reached financial freedom with 10 paid off rentals using a home equity line of credit strategy, buying one paid off, buy one paid off. It's 10 paid off rentals, been retired for a decade. When I bought my first duplex, this is a familial term of love. He called me a moron. You can't do this with mortgages. You can't have a mortgage and own rentals. You're just stupid. Till he saw the cash flow 5 years later. Then he was like, maybe you got an idea here. How'd you do this? But that's the biggest, that's a huge fear, is who's supporting you? Who's around you that you say, you go to work and you say, I made an offer on a rental property. Listen to the negative comments that just come jumping out. That is, if it's your only source of input of information, again, going to stop you in your tracks.
Totally agree. Matt, you got one more?
Yeah, I think, at the end of the day, take a drink, Dion. I think that people need to recognize that to do something special or different, you actually have to do something different and special. And very often today, the special isn't, splitting an atom. It's just working more. It's just making more of an effort. It's just being more thoughtful about where you're investing your time. Dion now, and then, because he used to use it to pay bills and afford things for his kids, was doing the online gaming thing. And for many, they don't monetize that or monetize it properly, and it's just a total burn, and it's an escape. And that's fine. I'm not saying you don't need an escape, but if you're escaping 20 hours a week, have you done the due diligence of what you're escaping?
Yeah.
Focus, spend some time in the land that you don't need to escape from, make your life better so you don't need to escape from it as much. One of my friends was giving me a hard time because I don't have anything I escape to. He's like, why don't you? He's like, you don't really have like a thing. I go, oh, I have lots of things. They said, but none of them are escapes. They're all things that are part of my life that I enjoy doing.
Yeah, you enjoy it.
So
yeah.
I think that people need to, I think if people are always looking to escape, I think you need to fix the root cause, not continue to escape or escape more. That will just get away from you, because then you're going to be, old like us and be nowhere. I mean, imagine being 53 years old and not having any rentals. Oh, dear Lord. I don't want that world.
Yeah. And guys, we're going to
go around. I've sold them all.
We're going to go around one more time, just so you got one more coming. The scary one for me kind of keys off what Dion said, but just a different way. When I started getting into this, I thought I could do it all by myself, right? I was the lone wolf. But that's not a strategy that works. It certainly doesn't work for the average person. I just happen to be uniquely broken, where I have a gift that I didn't even know was a gift to repetitively do something day after day and not get bored. You have to be in a community. And again, I talk about it all the time now. You got to fire your friends. There's a lot of friends and family that are just weights and anchors and anvils and detractors, and they may want the best for you, but what they're really saying is they don't want you to change. They don't want you to be different. If you are going to make hay, especially during the first 5 years that suck, you've got to be in a community that will celebrate your wins. You could celebrate other people's wins. You can ask them questions. You can commiserate about the bad days, because we've all been there. It all happens. And that's one of the things that I love about the school community now, of almost 280 people. every day there's posts about wins and questions and this and that. Now, dude, they're even trying to splinter off and do little meetups. I mean, that's like the secret sauce, right? They had one in Dallas, and I think they're trying to do one up in, Washington somewhere. And once we get this thing really going, and the school community gets to be several hundred, we're going to have meetups happening in little areas, which is just going to be awesome. You get like-minded individuals speaking the same vocabulary, supporting each other. You can't lose. It's pretty awesome. All right, Dion, one more.
So this one, this one is real estate related, but I'm going to put a personal note on it. I hate the idea of work-life balance.
Me too.
So this is really big in like IT culture, right? My son worked at PayPal. He ran a division there, made half what he was making as a truck driver, but I'll leave that out. And they
Wow.
had constant training on work-life balance and how you balance this out. You could take a sabbatical after so many years. You get a full month. I mean, it's not paid, but you get your month off or whatever. And I think if your life is balanced, you're working as much as you're living, and that's terrifying. And so it's that balance that I struggle with, and this is where I put the personal note on. I struggle with a YouTube channel where I want to talk about why real estate is worth it, right? What freedom comes from cash flow coming in. I did this on my live the other day. I took my monthly cash flow and I divided by the day, and I was like, this much money comes in, even if I don't get out of bed. Like the freedom that comes from that, right? So that sounds rosy, puppy dogs and kittens. But I think we need that balance of what are the bad stories? What are the hard things that we had to deal with? What was it like to save and struggle and deal with all your friends saying, well, why don't you take a vacation? It's been several years. And why is your car so old? You're the president of the company and you should be doing all these different things. You should have a bigger house. And finding that balance of, yeah, it's going to suck. There's going to be things that are terrible. But on the other side, you have Matt's analogy, parable, 53, no rentals. Right now, if you're 53 with no rentals, you think, okay, it's a good time to start. But if you are us, around 50, financially free, don't have to work, then think of having no rentals. That's terrifying.
Yes.
So that's my struggle is on YouTube. How do I go? Here's the benefits. Here's how amazing being able to retire early is. You can continue working if you want to. Have like the normal, here's all the good stuff. Here's the bad stuff, but not hit that note so hard that Frank and Cynthia said when I first started, when we started talking about how the first 5 years suck, he almost said, well, maybe I shouldn't do this. Because yeah, it does suck, but it sucks so much worse not to do it.
Yes, it's a lot worse not doing it. That's absolutely right. We've got to, and also we've got to hit it's worth it a lot better. I agree with that. All right, Matt, what's your third and final scary fact about growing a real estate portfolio?
That all of your tenants can stop paying rent all at the same time.
Says the man that happened to.
Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Don't want to ever play that game again.
Yeah,
but it can happen. I made it through. You'll make it through too. But the way that you get around that is by being around investors that have done it for a decade plus and recognize, or at least their last recession, and recognize what it took to get them through that last recession. And, that's what the event that I'm doing tonight is all about, is how to bulletproof your portfolio. That's what you got to do. You got to bulletproof your portfolio. There's a reason when, no matter what the news says, I got long on the stock and I got short on the stock. It doesn't matter. I'm playing with the margins. I got long on the stock. I got short on the stock. But the best part is this prop pays better.
Yeah.
So you got to bulletproof your portfolio. So it's really scary thinking that, because you can do the math just with 4 units.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, my wife and I bring home $8,000 a month after taxes, and we bring in $8,000 a month gross on our rental properties. Well, when you're not getting paid anything, you bring in $0 a month gross, and you still have those mortgages and taxes and water bills and electric bills and heating bills and oil bills and gas bills. You have all those things, and maintenance, have all of them. And so the issue is that are you set up to be able to manage that scary time in your life and really, quite frankly, make it a bump in the road as opposed to something that could potentially drastically, break your business?
Yeah. My third and final one, kind of peeling off what Dion was saying. The scary fact about building a real estate portfolio is if you want to get wealthy, rich, freedom, whatever you're striving to, which is usually the goal, is it takes 10 years. This is not a get rich quick strategy. Anybody who tells you it's get rich quick, you should just hang up on them, block them, do whatever. It's not how real estate works. It is a journey. It takes years for mortgage pay down, inflation to raise the value and increase rents, all of these things. It takes a decade. And again, you could change your financial future with 4 units. Buy a unit every year, buy a unit every other year, and do nothing else. You will be in a much better financial position in 10 years, in 20 years, and 30 years. And something Dion told me very early on in our discussions, which I still haven't forgotten, is you're going to be alive in 10 years. Invest like it. I mean, that is just so eye-opening. And yes, it takes 10 years. It took Olivia and I 15. But you know what? Now we've got somewhere between 35 and 55 years to do whatever the hell we want, when we want, with whom we want. It's worth it. It's worth it. Just don't think this is a 100-meter dash when it's a marathon, because your pace will be off. You will go out and acquire 80 or 8 units in 18 months. That's probably not the right strategy for most people. Go slow, pace yourself, do these things. So again, building a real estate portfolio can be scary, but it is worth it. Final thoughts, Dion?
There's a lot of people doing what you want to do. Find out what they're doing. And I saw a short of yours where you took a clip out and it said, don't copy people. I don't think anybody should go, like you said earlier at the beginning of this video, there's Team Dion on a couple of things, right?
Oh, yeah.
No one should copy my entire whole strategy. They should take elements of it, and then elements of Matt, elements of you, Millennial Mike, like all these, the Pace Morbies, they should take some of his information and go, okay, this works. I'm going to take this part that I really like and put it in their strategy. And yeah, don't overthink it. I mean, that's the other problem with like not being in the right community. You don't even know what to focus on.
Yeah. That is such a key. Love that. Community is everything. Join school, get part of the community. Just a quick plug. Matt, what's your closing thoughts?
Doers and thinkers. Be a doer, not a thinker. Just do through. That's the way it goes. I mean, I'm the least educated guy in every single room. And I'm probably one of the richest in every single room. So
and probably one of the smartest. Let's not skip over that.
Yeah. I mean, I care more about the money.
Because
that's not opinion. That's not opinion. And selling my smart never got me anywhere. So I think people should just be doers. I think stop thinking about it. We see overthinkers in our group, but still eventually they made the step. And I guarantee a year from now, they will wish that they had done something different 3 years ago and started faster. That's probably what's going to happen. But I think be doers and consume. I mean, Mike, how many hours of education do the 3 of us put out every single week?
Oh,
you couldn't watch it all. You couldn't,
no,
you literally couldn't watch it all. So pick the right topics, pick the areas that you want to focus on the most. Who do you align with? You know, that you feel like that's more what I want to do, but then splashes of other parts of the strategy get in, because the best, most successful strategies are the ones that incorporate 3 or 4 different strategies that align with each other to accomplish the best results.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. Folks, at the end of the day, we are doing lots of things in one rental at a time to help you. We put, again, out hours of content each week for free. We do have a school community, which we are all a part of. You can join that. It's $20 a month, education, access, all of that. Also, we have that great Vegas event. If you want to come and meet us, take pictures, ask questions, you're going to meet us and 15 other millionaires, at least 15 other millionaires, plus some surprises. So we hope to see you in Vegas, February 15th and 16th. Guys, take care. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike.
Ciao.